let's have a look at that last note. That's wowzers. That's impressive.
Sound check.
Well, g'day there. Welcome back to another vocal analysis here at Voice Essentials. My name is Dr. Dan, and I think there'll be a few new people watching today's analysis, and so welcome. I'm a singing voice specialist of, as to this point, about 31 years of experience. We do vocal analysis videos here on the channel, the Voice Essentials channel, all the time, at least once a week, sometimes two. And so thanks for popping in. The reason I think there'll be a few new people watching today is because we're looking at an artist who, admittedly, I'd never heard of prior to Boss Joe Gaming giving me a PayPal donation, which was very gratefully received, Boss Joe Gaming, and requesting this particular review, this particular analysis of Ironmouse singing Music Box of Fate. This is very much off the beaten track of what we would normally review. Not because it isn't marvelous, because it is, but because firstly it's virtual, in the sense that the anime nature of it is something we've never reviewed here on the channel. We're not going to be reviewing the anime, but am I correct in for those of you who are the initiated? Is it right to call the graphics that we're about to see anime? Forgive me if it's not. And the singer is Ironmouse is known for being a virtual singer. That is, we never see them, I believe, in person. Now, the singer is a Puerto Rican VTuber and has been active since 2017. This is what my research notes tell me. Interestingly, they live with a common variable immunodeficiency, CVID, and is largely bedridden. And so I think that's really important context, a bit of backstory to what we're about to see and observe. The other thing about this that is very unusual for us is it's very modern opera, very classical. We are typically are reviewing contemporary genres, and so I'm going to be careful not to swim outside my lane here in making too many technical comments about the classical singing. But we'll still be able to look at pitch accuracy. We will look at some resonance analysis. But I think it'll just be a really interesting performance for us to look at because it is so different. So let's dive in and have a listen. Ironmouse. it's I, I'm it's such a different art form for me. I don't listen to a lot of opera. I did opera as a part of my first number of years at the Queensland Conservatorium of Music. Never been passionate about it. Appreciate it as an art form and the difficulty of it as an art form. But then, conjoining that to the art form of this graphic, of this animation is so I don't know, it gives it something which is really quite spectacular. And whoever has done the anime has oh wow. It's quite extraordinary. Isn't the voice unusual in particularly in the rate of that vibrato, which for my ear sounds to be traveling to a tremolo. Yeah, it's a really high rate vibrato, which is really interesting, and it gives it a really unique feature. We'll continue, but if, like me, this is your first interaction with Ironmouse and this type of, dare I say, it's like a standalone genre. It's on its own hybrid. You might be really quite fascinated by it. This might be an opportunity for us to go and have a look at, pitch accuracy. When I first started looking at this, I must admit, when I saw the animation, and I thought, okay, this is going to be highly produced in so much as it'll be. I'm expecting to hear quite a bit of post-production going on, which I'm expecting to, and this speaks to the biases that we approach these things with. I'm expecting to observe a lot of tuning in post-production going on, and for me that would have, I guess, cut across what I know about people within the classical world would have a problem with that. But when I jumped in and had a look at the analysis and the pitch accuracy, I found and what I found, I'll show you. This is just the end of that section we've just watched. It hasn't been tuned, from what I can gather.
Against the wills of God, we'll fight, chasing the sound.
Look at this one here. Yeah, she has to tune that up. That one's just ever so slightly sharp. That would be dead center of the pitch. But she's just ever so slightly over the note by, a number of cents, not much. Again, she climbs through that note. This one here is definitely sharp.
to you.
And we hear that natural variance. If we just, can you see that natural variance of what you've got, this movement in that human nature of resonance, sorry, of tuning. While we're on that, what are we at 2 minutes 26. So we'll come over to here, and this is that same place.
I'll be bound to you.
Yeah. Let's just have a look at, because that's a fairly representative nature of her vibrato. So we've got a 57-cent vibrato range extent. 53 hertz is very in keeping with a classical, but it's the level of movement that 57 cents, which is over half a semitone. So certainly not. Actually, you wouldn't. I don't think you would call that a tremolo. I think that's still very much within that classical vibrato rate. I think we'd expect to hear it a lot quicker than that if we were to call it a tremolo. Leave your comments below if you've got any thoughts to that. But what a fascinating voice, fascinating performance. Now I'm just interested in the height of that note. Let's see if we can. What have we got? A B5. That's an impressive note, right? Oh, I'm loving. Can you hear in the background there? You know, this is the music box of fate. Can you hear that music box sound just in the playing in the background? A lovely arrangement feature of the piece. It's ever so slight, but it's beautiful how it's sitting there.
Nothing else can sway my heart. From the start, you shone brighter than heaven's star. Even far apart, nothing will sway my heart. Your music box rings louder than the dying stars. Against the wills of God, we'll fight, chasing the sound. Oh, as your sun rays eternally bound to you, forever I'll burn for you. So with the last of the strength in my heart,
Yeah. Let's have a look at that last note. That's wowzers. That's impressive. But you can, and again, you can hear how it's not tuned, right? This is what we expect to see. What is this? A D6. Very high. Look at the nature of the note. Yeah, for those of us who do, watch these things watch my analysis videos, and we talk about, when we see tuning. This is what an untuned extended note looks like. It's let's be frank, it feels like it's a little bit all over the shop. Can you hear the fluctuation? Yeah? Human, natural, but amazingly high and wonderful and just freaking awesome. Ten-second note on a D6. Wow. Boss Joe Gaming, thank you for the PayPal donation, but thank you also for drawing our attention to that. It is wonderful to see genres like opera being given an opportunity to engage with far more new ways of delivering it. If I don't know if that's how it makes sense in what I just said, but I think sometimes we do fall into the trap of thinking of opera as something from yesteryear, and yet it is important to recognize there are new operas, and new. This is a single song, but new material being written within the genre. And material that I quite enjoy. I'm not a big lover of opera. There's a reason why I went down the contemporary road, is because I love my contemporary music far more than I enjoy opera. But when I hear that connected, it must be said connected with the anime graphic, the animation. I quite enjoy that, and I quite enjoy listening to the skill of the singer express the narrative. Very different to what we typically do here on the channel, but well worth that little tributary trip that we just took. I hope you've enjoyed that, and I do look forward to seeing you in the next vocal analysis video. I'm Dr. Dan. Sing well.